All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakak Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to Akim and Yefua Akwaf, your men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Micah Allah coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is simply The Destruction Makes Sense. The destruction makes sense. And, the destruction just makes more and more sense every day, that the Lord allows us to wake up and to just see the wickedness that, continues to, go on here in the planet Earth, mainly over here on the soils of America. And the destruction is just is well needed, It's well needed that the Lord, sends these dangerous times upon you people. And we long for that, we long for it because we're sick and tired of seeing you people outside this council prosper. We're tired of seeing smiles on you people faces, which you have nothing to smile about, and we just need the Lord to destroy this place. This place needs to be destroyed, but the destruction, it just makes sense, because once that destruction comes, that's when mourning for the Israelites, starting with the elect, that's when that's going to stop. That's when our oppressors ruling over us, that's when that's going to stop. The heathens, being in a position of authority, that's when that's going to stop, and ultimately wickedness, that's when wickedness is going to be put to its end. But this place, America, has to go, and it just makes sense. It just makes so much sense. But let's start off right here. This Proverbs 19 and verse 20. It says, "Hear counsel and receive instructions, that thou mightest be wise in thy latter end." You see, and the Lord has caused us, those of us that believe, to hear the counsel of the Lord by the way of the prophets, and to receive those instructions given. And what was the instructions? To not be conformed to the ways of this world, to spiritually depart from this place mentally, no longer take on the customs of this place, America, no longer have a mindset that this place is going to continue, forever, because, before the Lord allowed us into this truth, we all had a mindset that this was, this is all we knew. We didn't know that the grass was actually greener on the other side. And through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, we were able to understand that the grass is greener on the other side. But in order to us to get to, the kingdom, wherein dwelleth righteousness, in order for that to be established, what's in the way right now? The wicked, Esau, Edom, America, is in the way of happiness, is in the way of peace, which Yahweh Shai is promoting. The Lord is promoting rulership for the Israelites. The Lord is promoting peace, immortality. But wickedness is in the way. America is in the way. You see? So let's read again. It says, this Proverbs 19 and 20, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. You see? And this is what makes us wiser, than, than the people of this world. This is what makes us wiser than a Degrassi nigga. I forgot the other name, but Degrassi, Leonardo Degrassi, whatever the fuck his name is. This is what makes us wiser than guys like Umar Johnson. Those that are seem to be wise in this world. Just to sum it up. Continuing on, it says, because a prudent man foreseeth the evil. Umar Johnson was talking for years about basically being content with a plot of land over here in America, that 40 acres in the mule spirit, you know, just wanting the crumbs from the master's table, you know, just want to pinch off of Esau Edom while further being oppressed, and he getting the ultimate say so. The Lord's not promoting that. The Lord is promoting us getting the whole loaf, you know, which that loaf actually, you know, belongs to Yahushua, you know, because all things were given to Yahushua, but through us being joint heirs, you know, whatever Yahushua received, we're going to receive. So Yahushua owns everything. And that means the elect is going to own everything as well, you see? And ultimately, later on down the line, the whole nation of Israel. It says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Exactly. And everybody, you know, outside this truth has a mindset that this is the end all be all. Just shut up, nigga. Go get some money. Establish your footing here in America. Get you a good job. Get you a good career. You know, and just shut up and make some money. You know, hell, I didn't personally talk to certain Jakes, you know what I mean, that I work with, and out of their own mouth, I done heard them say that they don't want to have dominion over the whole planet Earth. You know, they don't want to rule. They don't want to be a king, you know. And that's a slave mentality, man. But they just want to, you know, be well off in America. And people like that is what keeps this wicked place going. That's why, you know, hearing a report that people with that mindset is going to be destroyed, it makes sense, because that's getting in the way of what Yahweh Shema Shai has in store for his people. That's getting in the way of peace, man. You know, that's getting in the way of peace, man. But continuing on, it says there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Yeah, so the Lord declared destruction to this place, America. It doesn't matter if you want to see your son make it to the NFL, or your daughter to be the next CEO over a company. You know, that's not according to the will of the Lord, man. Everything here, the elements is gonna melt with fervent heat, man, by the way of those thermonuclear missiles. You know, the Lord is promoting chaos to this place, not prosperity. We're in the time of war. We're not in the time of peace, man. So Isaiah 46 and verse 9, it says, remember the former things of old, for I am power, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. So look at the former things of old. You know, look at the time of Noah. You know, when wickedness reached its height in the planet Earth, ultimately the Lord sent judgment. The will of the Lord was to what? Flood the earth. You see? And everybody had a mindset during that system that was going on during the time of Noah. Everybody thought that system was going to last forever. You know? And other kingdoms that came and went later on down the line, but sticking to the point, the counsel of the Lord back then was to flood the earth and to kill billions of people. It makes it no different to date, because the Lord don't change. But the Lord, instead of him doing it with with water this time, the Lord's going to do it with fire, you know? And that fire is strictly reserved, you know, for mainly America, Babylon the Great, that has spread out all this wickedness through the four corners of the earth. It says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. You see? So the Lord already declared the end of the wicked ruling from the beginning. And the wicked is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. You know? He's the one that the fatness of the earth was given to. You see? By Yahweh Shemal Washai through the way of Isaac, man. You see? And these are the same nation of people that the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming back to take, power out of this man's hand and to destroy this man. This is a part of the counsel of the Lord. The destruction of America is a part of the counsel of the Lord, man. And it doesn't matter if you people disagree with it. This Habakkuk 2 and verse 12, it says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establishes a city by iniquity. And this is how America was established, through bloodshed of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You touch the apple of the Lord's eye. It's so much bloodshed on this land that it has to be cleansed. It tells you that in Numbers, you see? By the blood of him that shed it, So destruction, whether you people believe it or not, is going to come to this place, man. And through the prophets, constantly, starting with our apostles and elders, constantly speaking about these things, speaking bad times upon this place. This is what's speeding it up, man. You see? Because this shit has to go. This Micah 4 and 10, it says, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. See? That's America. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Washai, shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. And we need that. Who needs to be delivered from their enemies? You see? In Zion, that's talking about Israel, man. That's not talking about all nations. You see? That's not talking about the heathens. The heathens don't need to be redeemed from their enemies. The heathens don't have enemies. Now, of course, they may disagree, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, these heathen nations are on the same fucking page, man. They're on the same goddamn page. They may disagree on certain things, but keeping the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American at the bottom, they all can fucking agree on that, man. You see? So while we got these guys out here that's telling you that heathens are going to be saved, the Lord is going to destroy people that push that doctrine and those that believe upon it, because it just don't make no sense, man. It does not line up with prophecy. It doesn't line up with what the Lord has said, man. And over here is where majority of the tribes, where Judah and Ephraim were oppressed together, meaning the southern and the northern kingdom, man. And over here, this is where we're going to be delivered. You see, Lord willing, we are that number, from the hands of our enemies, because we the ones that need the deliverance, man. You see? This Revelations 18 and verse 4, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. You see? And that's that deliverance, man. By the way, of the fathership that Yahweh Shai is going to return on, and that's going into when the elect is going to be beamed up out of here, man, and saved from that thermonuclear destruction, because the missiles are coming. World War III is going to happen, It's going to happen, man, and it needs to happen, because this place is just wicked, man. You see? Let's start at verse 5. Revelation 18 and 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Yeah, the sins of this place has reached unto the heavens, man. Day in and day out, this place is just waxing worse and worse with wickedness, man. And the Lord is going to take this place out. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she have filled to her double. Exactly. And that's what's coming, That says how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And you people honestly believe, when we look in history now, we look at places like Nineveh, we look at places like Sodom and Gomorrah, we look at places, all these different kingdoms that were once established in history, known history, that came and went. And America is the worst kingdom out of all of them put together. Worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, worse than the ancient Roman Empire, worse than the Medo-Persian Empire. And you people honestly believe that the God of the Bible is just going to sit back and just not do shit and just let all this madness go on forever. You people are totally crazy and out of your mind, man. And you're sadly mistaken. But you people are going to know the truth after death by pain, man, as you should. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Shemawashah power, who judgeth her, you see. And these plagues have already been sent out, but that ultimate plague is going to be through that thermonuclear fire, man. And that destruction, it makes so much sense and it's well needed. But Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.